I have an idea. Let us step into the world of Mork Borg. Greetings, traveler, and welcome back once again. You found me today after having made an agreement with a witch. The one they call Zambies. She lurks somewhere on this web that we all exist within and upon. What the witch and I have seen together with our pairs of eyes is the creative world of Mork Borg. There are a lot of very fun indie games out there that offer lovely potential for creative prompts. So that is what we're going to do today. We decided that it would be fun to roll up some characters for each other. And in that description we would also include one lie. Because in the world of Mork Borg, lying is fun. I'll reveal my lie at the end of the video. First of all, we had to generate a weather condition, as most games would include. So we were stuck to irritating drizzle. Already, this is starting with a challenge. I will have to create rainwater at the end of the project. I'll have to paint everything else and then create falling rain somehow. So, no problem. Every obstacle is just a challenge to climb over. No reason to turn back and flee. Foundationally, we would use the Bone Eater Giants from Kingdom Death. These give us some large, naked models that we can... The idea is to create a lot of modification. So a figure that reads in a larger scale, I think it'll give us a little bit of extra room to work. Now, trusting my fate into the witch's hand and having my main model available, I wanted to first create a sketch of the figure that I was after. So, my description, as we've already discussed, the irritating drizzle, but also traps and devilry, coins coated in grime and poison upon the base. For my character items, a small wagon or item above of my choice. It could be nothing, a backpack, or a sack. Also, torches. And a small but vicious dog. Now I think with this one I've identified Zambi's lie. Maybe she's just giving it to me, but the weapon, the mighty Warhammer. House favorite. And you gotta love this description for armor. No armor. I'll be going full battle nude into the world of Mork Borg. We also rolled for some of the additional details. You know, there's some additional charts you can choose to use or not to use, so we chose to use them. The Broken Bodies chart sounded like a lot of fun, and what Zambies has given me, a rotting face, wears a mask. I will interpret all these things as I choose. Optional traits number 4, a gambling addict. Okay, luckily that conversion can take place on the inside of the model. As well as the troubling tale of very recently murdering a close relative. Very recently, like probably yesterday, and that's how the adventure started. And the very, very fun Arcane Catalyst chart has given me, your eyes burn with insufferable agony, bleeding heavily before loosening and falling from their gory pits. I thought that would say eye sockets, but no, the gory pits of your face. So, my mission is clear, my sketch is complete. We'll see how closely I can stick to this. You're looking at the rotational footage right now. I'm happy with the model I've built out. Yes, she's full battle nude, and I thought being covered in scars would make up for the fun representation of the lack of armor. The mighty Warhammer slung over the shoulder. The canny viewers will notice that is Lysander's very Warhammer. Peg legs seemed like a natural choice, being unarmored and all, so I sculpted one up with a mixture of milliput and green stuff and just laid that down over some brass rod. She came together nicely. I ended up representing the pet or the dog by... I'm like, okay, which one is the pet? I will have a spectral hand holding a rope, a noose around her neck. Why not? That's very, very Mork Borg. Everything is... the world has gone insane. And the part I'm most proud of is the chance it gave me to experiment creating a fur effect. This is something that had been rolling around in my mind for a while, and you have these ideas and a certain project will come along, and that's just the right one. I wanted to try creating some fur out of the static grass tufts. So just fur, those static grass tufts plus some PVA or white glue diluted down, and I did this in about 3 layers. I would paint some in, have to let it get semi-dry so these clumps are kind of caking together. You want to form tufts of fur, and bending them downwards. It's pretty easy to force the glue down. Even after it's dry, it's still somewhat pliable, so you can press on it and just get that gentle sag to the fur. So with our soon-to-be eyeless warrior built up, let's talk about the painting. I recorded a tutorial painting the entire model and then just decided that parts of it were boring. You don't need to know how to paint rags for the 10th time, so let's talk about skin. I mean, I'll lay in a little bit of extra information about some of the theory behind this color scheme and all that. The general theory at play is light versus dark contrast. I'm placing a light object next to a dark object, or segmented by that, right? Like the fur, the hood, that is dark, the skin is light, the weapon is dark, the base becomes dark as a shadow kind of falls into it. Just thinking of light and dark composition. A yellowed base gives me sort of a warm tone. There will be some warmth on the skin, but the bluish hue certainly helps to complement the warmer yellow. Let's work on that awkward blue undercoat. I'll be wet blending to start, taking from that original base coat of gray castle and deep ocean blue. I'm taking commando khaki and pale sand. First, I want to keep the overall value in mind. Gradually, as the eye moves up the model, it will increase in brightness. Not every shadow should drop to the colder tone. Some areas won't include it at all. Just consider that the highlight on the top of the foot should not be as bright as the highlight on the tip of the nose. And that is value control. Consider that the crease in the chest will not drop down to an absolute black shadow, although an area on the underside of the armpit or the bottom of the jaw, that might be heavily shaded. Just consider an overall rise from dark to light as the eye moves up the model. I know that's a big step, but seeing is believing, friend. Look at that. All we have to do next, after our wet blending and a little bit of gradual layering just to make sure things were very secure, is start sharpening. I want to add a whole mess of scars. And with these scars, I also want to keep that value in mind. Again, don't highlight the ankle with the same brightness in the scar tissue as you would on the upper face. Well, maybe a little bit. Scar tissue does turn considerably white, but just keeping that value in mind. Feel free to mix and match scar tissue to varying levels of brightness and intensity as you make your way about the model. Don't be lazy here. Add a lot of scars. The skin is more scar than skin, which scars are made of skin, of course, but you get the picture. It's better this way. Okay, decent. We have a foundation of flesh applied. There are some scars present, but does it really look alive? I wouldn't want it to be too alive, but I do want to add a slight flushed hue. That's the secret to flesh, is all those little subtle off tones that you can bring into the situation. So taking some dragon red and combining it with my blue-gray khaki mix, I can add a subtle warmth in certain areas on top of the cold canvas. This will give a much more lively look to the flesh, as well as give more colors for scars. That's right, more scars! I really should have bought armor, but payday is coming soon. With the flushed flesh applied, let's do another layer of sharpening. That's right, more scars, like layering pine needles upon the earth. Using mixtures of commando khaki and pale sand, I pick out the finest highlights, trying my best to have a light touch and focus on the subtle textures. In addition to scarification, I will be rounding off some of these areas. Just a little bit of smooth blending, I'll allow it. I suppose the skin could give way to certain larger gradients. Okay, semi-smooth. We're looking just right. So next I want to unify all of my work. The entire model is going to be getting a thin wash of Desolate brown from the Speedpaint line. I'm going to be using a 10-to-1 mix. That's 1 part Desolate brown, 10 parts Speedpaint medium. I'll lay it down heavy in some areas, but in the case of the skin, very, very soft. Think of it as a glaze opposed to a wash. This will just be a nice thin overall filter that will help to diffuse the reflected light, which is how you see colors. We're smoothing things out with just a gentle sheet of tint. Now, they say a face tells a story. In this case, a rotting face, covered in rags. Also, the eyes are bleeding. That payday can't come soon enough. Pulling from my flesh tones again, I traced some thin reddish lines across the visage. Then some dots of pale sand, suitably unsettling. Think of it as just putting little kind of pimple heads on the model after blood has been thinly pouring out in random streaks from the eyeballs. You've got this. I believe in you. To make sure that the bleeding eyes were looking suitably sore and reasonably tender, I started mixing some dragon red with white. This would give me a lovely pink mass. Flowing down, thin traces of dragon red and a spot of black and red for a glaze that is both penetrating and upsetting. It's as if I'm drawing corpse paint on top of a model, and I really like corpse paint. Because after all, when a band is playing live, is it just a bunch of dudes in t-shirts or some men in makeup? What am I supposed to be watching? In conclusion, it is not about the numerous wounds that lie upon our bodies. It's about the money. It's about the cash to buy more Warhammers and larger cod pieces. It's about lying to your friends. The one lie that I gave to Zambies was the swollen, red, alcoholic's nose. I thought that she could have fun with that one and it'd be a very unique facial feature. But my model is complete. I made a video creating the rainwater. I wanted to kind of pull that off. I thought it was a useful separate tutorial, so I put a tutorial up on Patreon on the drizzling rain. And I did forget to add the coins in the end. I just straight up made a mistake, so I guess I lose. But who's really the winner? Is it Zambies, who has now wrapped her fate around the world of Mork Borg, forever lost? Truly, in this world, as well as that of Mork Borg, we must all play the hand we are dealt, even if that hand which is dealing is that of some kind of skeletal wizard. Cool. So, thank you for your support on Patreon, or if you're watching this video ad-free over there. Feel free to let me know how you feel about it in the comment section down below. Asking questions helps with learning. And if you're not supporting me on Patreon and watching this on YouTube, thanks for checking out this collab. It was a really fun thing to do with my friend Zambies. So, until we meet again, my friends, on down that chromatic trail, remain unchained.